Hi, my name is Gabriel Doyle. I'm an urban historian of the late Ottoman period, and from September until January, I will be a fellow at IAE-ANAMED and the Istanbul Research Institute. In 2021, I obtained a doctorate in history at the École des Hautes Études en Sciences Sociales, with a thesis on Catholic charity and urban change in late Ottoman Istanbul. Since then, I have taught contemporary history at Sciences Po and Turkish studies at the University of Aix-Marseille. I have published several articles on urban change in late Ottoman Istanbul, on the Catholic configuration of the city, and on different humanitarian initiatives that occurred during moments of crisis. To conduct my research, I use sources in French, Italian, and Ottoman Turkish from archives in different countries. My approach can be considered at the intersection of microhistory with a particular attention to individuals and very specific localities in the urban fabric, urban history, taking into consideration the materiality of the city, and international history by following many figures whose trajectories cross national or imperial borders. My current project attempts to study the emergence of a specific fundraising technique in Istanbul between the Crimean War and the Young Turk Revolution. I am particularly interested in how charitable lotteries, or piyango in Turkish, became widespread after their official authorization in 1882, and the moral debates caused by this novelty in the city. The multiplication of charitable lotteries in Ottoman Istanbul epitomizes in many ways the growth of voluntary associations, confessional schools, and a general will to take care of less fortunate urban dwellers during Abdulhamid II's regime. By soliciting financial donations through the lottery, actors involved in beneficence, linked or not to the Ottoman state, attempted to construct imposing buildings that transformed the skyline of Istanbul. This system therefore allowed the proliferation of public institutions, mostly schools and hospitals, run by Christian, Jewish, and Muslim organizations, and funded by the general population seeking to win lottery prizes. Overall, I interpret this surge as a general push for a disciplinary and moralized urban fabric, echoing the observations of Nadir Özbek on the growth of a monarchical and conservative public sphere under the Sultanate of Abdulhamid. However, games like the lottery were also condemned as an infringement of the principles of the three monotheistic religions prominent in Istanbul. The lottery was therefore also targeted by public commentators and many religious figures as a symbol of moral decay, typical of urban modernity. By delving into the variety of sources that debated on whether charity, justified by religious motivations, should use the lottery as a fundraising technique, I am therefore interested in moral dilemmas that illustrate a broader discomfort towards urban change in the late Ottoman period. I am inspired by Joseph Ben Prestel's comparative study on Berlin and Cairo, where the historian traces the emotional content of public discourses on urban change. I am also using Anne-Laure Stoller's concept of epistemic anxiety that, according to me, captures well the rhetoric found in documents produced by actors attempting to reform the city of Istanbul. The actual functioning of lotteries show both rupture and continuity with previous forms of charitable activities prevalent in the earlier Ottoman period. They often relied on new banking institutions and were promoted in daily newspapers, but mostly authorized after the submission of a petition, arzuhal, to the state, and separated according to the religious affiliation of those who organized the lottery. This project will therefore contribute to the growing literature on the experience of interreligious sociability in the late Ottoman era. Lotteries were in fact, from their inception, a highly interconfessional practice, appreciated by Christians, Muslims, and Jews alike. Raffle tickets themselves demonstrate what Ariel Salzman has called a multi-religious linguistic architecture, highlighting the intensity of intercommunal relations in the Ottoman city. Overall, the study of charitable lotteries will allow me to follow both cultural and economic dynamics related to the urban transformation of the Ottoman capital, in order to give both a moral and material rendering of its history. In many ways, as a game organized for good deeds, the lottery exemplifies the concept of fin de siècle that was already in use at the time both in Western Europe and the Ottoman Empire, where sentiments of moral decay coexisted with material improvement, fostering new discourses and practices that left a lasting imprint on the urban fabric.